Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the state of Tennessee, the county sheriff. Today's date, early Monday morning, uh, February the 1st, 2016, time 1:45 a.m. First, I thank all my family, my support for continued encouragement and support. And today, we're going to continue our discussion on African traditional religion. As you already know, African traditional religion is being taught in institutions of higher learning in sub-Saharan Africa, from the African nation of Senegal, which is in West Africa, all the way down to the African nation of South Africa, which is in Southern Africa. And you can earn your bachelor's degree, you can earn your master's degree, you can earn your PhD in African traditional religion. They teach African traditional religion in institutions, of higher learning, colleges and universities. In these African nations, the Department of Religion, they teach African traditional religion. It's not just some words you just throw out, some made up uh, um, concept, you know what I'm saying? Some type of made up association that you made up, some kind of society, things of this nature. Excuse me. This is an actual way of life for a group of people, the Niger Congo people. You understand? African traditional religion and Niger Congo language family are inseparable. You just can't separate Niger Congo from African traditional religion. You just can't. It, 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 and we're gonna continue our discussion today, and we're gonna. I'm trying to mute now. And the music that you're hearing in the background, that's this is Africa.me, and they have the radio station and everything, and that's the classic radio station that's playing. The classic, African radio station that's playing. So that's the music that you're hearing. We'll turn it down. Now we're gonna go ahead and go ahead and try because I want to get back to the book. But yesterday we were talking about the Sira people, and and the reason why I brought this because we were talking about the names of God and things of this nature, and we know that the Sira people, they refer to God, and the name of God is what is spelled ROG, pronunciation Road, Road, and we know that the Sira people, they is a West African ethno-religious group, and you can find they pretty much live in Senegal and parts of Gambia as well. And and they said that the Sira people they speak either Sira or Kangan. They both both of those languages are Niger Congo. Now it says that now we have Sira. Sira is a language as a language. Then you have Sira as a ethno-religious group, ethno-religious group. Now the Sira people, they speak Kangan. Now some of the Sira people speak Sira, which is Senegambia, which is the Senegalese Gambian branch of the Niger Congo. And but then you have the other Sira, the ethno-religious group, and they speak Kangan. Now Kangan is classified as Niger Congo. It's in the Atlantic, and then Senegal is close to Fulani. It's closer to Fulani. Now it says Sira is closer to Fulani than this Kangan. Kangan is not as close to Fulani, but thought to be a dialect of the Sira language. Now it says the Sira religion, a fat rogue, the way of the divine, is the original religious belief, practices, and teachings of the Sira people. Sira people believe in a universal supreme deity called Rogue, and the Kangan language speakers refer to the supreme being as Cox or Cox, Koox. So we have to make sure we don't get that mixed up when we talk about the Sira people, because it says that the Sira people believe in a universal supreme deity called Rogue, Roog, or Rog. The Kangan language speakers refer to the supreme being as Cox or Cox, Koox. So me see. Okay, I was just looking at I was looking at some, but that's what we were talking about yesterday on my previous video. You know, I mentioned it because we were talking about the names of God. So that was in Niger Congo languages, and we were talking about the Sira people, and we were talking about that God, the Sira people, and the Sira people religion, and so and the Sira people language and things of this nature. But we're gonna get back to the books and okay. Now we're gonna refer to introduction introduction to African religion. Dr. John S. M. Beatty. And Dr. John S. M. Beatty in chapter 2, page 11. What is African religion? The nature of African religion. What is African religion? That is a big question, and this book is written to answer it. In order to profit from reading it, we shall first look at the nature of religion in general, and then we'll see how African religion affects the African way of life. Religion can be seen in five parts. No part by itself constitutes the entire meaning of religion. All these parts must be seen as working together to give us a complete picture. Briefly, they are as follows. Beliefs. They are an essential part of any religion. Of any religion. They show the way people think about the universe and their attitude towards life itself. African religious beliefs are concerned with topics such as God, spirits, human life, magic, the hereafter, and so on. And next, practices, ceremonies, and festivals. This group of activities is also essential to any religion. Religious practices show how people express their beliefs in practical terms. They include praying, making sacrifices and offerings, performing ceremonies and rituals, observing various customs, and so on. Festivals are normally joyful occasions where people sing, dance, eat, and celebrate a particular occasion or event. For example, there are festivals to mark harvest time, the start of the rainy season, the birth of a child, and victory over enemies. We find many religious practices and festivals in African religion. We will consider many of them in this book. The next are religious objects and places. This part of religion covers the things and places which people have set apart as being holy or sacred. They are not commonly used except for a particular religious purpose. There are many such religious objects and places. Some are made by man, but others are taken in their natural form and set apart for religious purposes. Some belong to private individuals and families. Wow. It said other while others belong to the whole community in a given region. They include places like shrines, groves, sacred hills or mountains, and objects like rivers, amulets, charms, masks, and many others. We shall say more about them later in this book. Values and morals. This is the part of religion which deals with the ideas that safeguard or uphold the life of the people in their relationship with one another and the world around them. Values and morals cover topics like truth, justice, love, right and wrong, good and evil, beauty, decency, respect for people and property, the keeping of promises and agreements, praise and blame, crime and punishment, the rights and responsibilities of both the individual and his community, character, integrity, and so on. They help people to live with one another, to settle their differences, to maintain peace and harmony, to make use of their belongings, to have a relationship with their total environment. There are differences in the values and morals followed by different peoples of Africa, but many of them are similar. It should also be remembered that they change as the living conditions of people change, but they always remain a necessity in human life. We will say more about African values and morals if we study their traditional religion, religious officials or leaders. These are the people who conduct religious matters such as ceremonies, sacrifices, formal prayers, and divinations. In many cases, they are trained men and women. They know more about religious affairs than other people and are respected by their community. They hold offices as priests, rainmakers, ritual elders, diviners, medicine men, and even as kings and rulers. These officials may or may not be paid for their duties, but in most cases, people give them presents and gifts to show their gratitude. Without them, religious activities would neither survive nor function properly, and much of the religious wisdom of the people would be forgotten. They are specialists and experts in religious matters. They are the human keepers of the religious heritage. They are an essential part of African religion, since without them it would grind to a halt and people would not benefit from it in practical terms. We have included a study of them in this book to see how they are trained and do their work. These then are the five essential parts which together go to make up a religion. We cannot define a religion by only one or two of its parts. They have to be considered together because religion is complex. Religion is not made up only of beliefs and practices. It has also objects, values, and officials. In this book, we shall study all these five aspects of African religion in order to give us a full picture of the religious insights which African peoples have acquired and experienced in their own setting and life. Having considered the parts which help to make up a religion, let us now see how African religion is related to African people, how it developed, and what wrong ideas have been held about it. Okay, we still in chapter 2. I'm going to briefly read a very little part of this right here. It says African religion is part of the African heritage. This on page 30, starts on page 13. Still in chapter 2. In the first chapter, we learned that the African heritage is very rich. It is historical, cultural, and religious. Therefore, we can say that religion is part and parcel of the African heritage, which goes back many hundreds and thousands of years. African religion is the product of the thinking and experience of our forefathers and mothers, that is, men, women, and children of former generations. They formed religious ideas, they formulated religious beliefs. Much of it says, and they observed religious ceremonies and rituals. They told proverbs and myths which carried religious meanings, and they evolved laws and customs which safeguarded the life of the individual and his community. And it says here that we cannot understand the African heritage without understanding its religious part. Religion is found in all African people. Their different cultures have been influenced very strongly by religion as it is found in each people. The earliest records of African history show that the Africans of ancient Egypt were very religious people. Up to this day, Africans who live according to their traditional ways are also said to be very religious. Through the ages, therefore, religion has been for Africans the normal way of looking at the world and experiencing life itself. For that reason, it is found wherever people are. It is integrated so much into different areas of life that, in fact, most of the African languages do not have a word for religion as such. They only have words for religious ideas, practices, and objects or places. We shall look at these later on in the book to know exactly what they are. Now, okay, we're going to read this right here. We're on page 14. We're still in chapter 2. African religion belongs to the people because African religion developed together with all the other aspects of the heritage. It belongs to each people within which it has evolved. It is not preached from one people to another. Therefore, a person must be born in a particular African people in order to be able to follow African religion in that group. It would be meaningless and useless to try and transplant it to an entirely different society outside of Africa, unless African peoples themselves go there with it. Even within it, Africa itself, religion takes on different forms according to different tribal settings. For that reason, a person from one setting cannot automatically and immediately adjust himself to or adopt the religious life of other African peoples in a different setting. The peoples of Europe, African, the peoples of Europe, America, or Asia cannot be converted to African religion as it is so much removed from the geographical and cultural setting. Since African religion belongs to the people, when Africans migrate in large numbers from one part of the continent to another, or from Africa to other continents, they take religion with them. They can only know how to live within their religious context. Even if they are converted to another religion like Christianity or Islam, they do not completely abandon their traditional religion immediately. It remains with them for several generations and sometimes centuries. A good example of this is the case of Afro-Americans and Afro-Caribbeans in the Americas and the West Indies. In spite of being suppressed, brainwashed, and bombarded with another and foreign culture since the days of slavery, which lasted up to the 19th century, they have retained many elements of their African religiosity to this day. All right, I'm gonna read some right here. Uh, Okay, certain little part. Okay, I finish that part. Okay, it says when Africans are converted to other religions, they often mix their traditional religion with the one to which they are converted. In this way, they think and feel that they are not losing something valuable, but are gaining something from both religious systems. African religion functions more on a communal than individual basis. All right, let me see. Since African religion belongs to the people, no individual member of the society concerned can stand apart and reject the whole of his people's religion. To do so would mean to cut himself off from the total life of his people. Even if the individual is converted to another religion, this should not mean abandoning his African culture altogether. Where there is no real conflict between African religion and other religions, the convert retains much of his cultural and religious background as long as he remains within the traditional setup of life. Okay, so okay, okay, I'm gonna read something real quick here on page 16. On page 16, we're still in chapter 2. It says here how African religion was founded. It says some of the world religions like Christianity, Islam have founders who started them. This is not the case with African religion. It evolved slowly through many centuries as people responded to the situation of their life and reflect upon their experiences. Many factors must have played a part in its development. These include the geographical environment, mountains, rivers, deserts, and forests, the change of the season, the powers of nature, such as earthquakes, thunderstorms, volcanoes, calamities, epidemics, diseases, birth and death, and major historical events like wars, locust invasions, famines, migrations, and so on. To these must be added man's reflection on the universe, the question about his origin, the earth and the sky, the problem of evil and suffering, the phenomena of nature, and many other problems. Religious ideas and practices arose and took shape in the process of man's search for answers to these questions and as ways of making human life safer and better. Okay, does African religion have sacred scriptures? Page 17. Say the Bible is the sacred book of Christianity, and the Quran is the book of Islam. African religion has no scriptures or holy books. It is written in the history, the hearts, and experiences of the people. Having no sacred scripture, it has been able to move with the times and it has produced no religious controversies. People are free to hold different views and beliefs without the danger of being accused of heresy or falsehood. On the other hand, since there are no sacred books, we cannot tell precisely what African religion may have been 500 years ago and how far it may differ today from what it was many centuries ago. Therefore, we cannot speak of the purity African religion, since there is no authority about what it was originally or at any given point in its history. African religion is very pragmatic and realistic. It is applied to a situation as a need arises. So that was a few that was the information that we read out of Dr. John S. M. Beatty, Introduction to African Religion. Amen. Okay. Okay, this is a prayer. I was looking in the wrong book. Hold on. Make sure I got the right prayer. I mean, in chapter 17. Chapter 17 starts, what they, 195, where it says, worship, prayers, and other appeals to God. And this is one of the prayers that can be. It says, do not pray often except in times of great need, particularly for rain and on special occasions. Here is a prayer by one of them on the occasion of the birth of his child. O Creator, who does all human beings create, thou hast on us a great worth conferred by bringing us this little child. Now that's not can be prayer. And the Zandi turn to God in prayer in times of sickness and difficulty and invoke him at other times for protection, prosperity, a person would, for example, water in his mouth, squirt it out and pray saying, Father, as I am here, I have not stolen the goods of another. I have not taken the goods of another without recompense. I have not set my heart after the goods of another. All men are good in my eyes. Then express how more water continues praying. God, it is indeed thou who settles the difference between us who are men. Uh, the Banyan Wonder, mention God's name frequently in prayer, blessing and salutation. One common prayer says, I hope that I hope that the God of Rwanda will help me, and a blessing runs. May the God of Banyan Wonder bless you. The Banyoro rarely pray to God except in distress, though their rainmakers do so more often. When people pray, they do it in the open with their hands and eyes lifted towards the sky. Otherwise, their attitude is that God has done his job of creation, and there is no need to solicit further favors from him. They have divinities who help them in their daily and minor needs. The Mandi, the Mandi generally end their prayers with the expression, God willingly, God willing. Although they pray directly to God, they more often do it through the intermediary of the spirits and the living dead, a practice which reflects their practices in social and political life. This is clearly illustrated from the following prayer. Oh God, let it reach to through Kini Momo. Let it reach to through Induelo. Then reach all our forefathers who are in thy hands. And men they also pray for blessings, deliverance, or God's retribution. For example, if a son leaves home against the wish of his parents, the father stands inside or outside the house and prays, O God, thou knowest this is my son. I begat him and trained him and labored for him. And now that he should do some work for me, he refused, and anything he does now in the world, may he not prosper until he comes back to me and begs my pardon. If the son meets with misfortune and comes to his senses, he returns home repentant, and through his mother approaches his father asking for forgiveness. The father now prays for the curse to be revoked and blessings to fall upon his son, saying, O God, this is my son. He left me without any good fortune in the world, because he knows I have cursed him. He has now come back to beg me. He knows he cannot stand behind me. He has come now to beg me to pull the curse as I am pulling out. Wherever he goes now may be prosper and have many children. Okay, that was just a few things out of the book, Concepts of God in Africa, Dr. John S.M.B. Now, we in the book West African Traditional Religion. It's written by Dr. Joseph Omasede Eru Lelu and Dr. P. Lumo Dupemu Dupemu. And we're gonna go over here to we're gonna, the chapter where it said the true nature of West African traditional religion starts on page 26. It said already we have examined some of the labels or terms used by foreign scholars to describe the West African traditional religion, and we have seen the shortcomings and the unpleasantness of such terms. But what really is meant by West African traditional religion, when we speak of African traditional religion, we mean the indigenous religion of the Africans. It is the religion that has been handed down from generation to generation by the forebearers of the present generation of Africans. It is not a found it is not a fossil religion, a thing of the past, but a religion that Africans today have made theirs by living it and practicing it. This is a religion that has no written literature, yet it is written everywhere for those who care to see and read. It is largely written in the people's myths and folk tales, in their songs and dances, in their liturgies and shrines, and in their proverbs and Python sayings. It is a religion whose historical founding is neither known nor worshipped. It is a religion that has no zeal for membership drive, yet it offers persistent fascination for African young or old. If we substitute West African for African in the foreground, we should have a picture of what we mean by West African traditional religion. Little then needs to be said for the purpose of elucidation. Okay. So there was I didn't want to read too much, but the West African traditional religion. Dr. Joseph Omasede Ewelelu and Dr. P. Lumo Dopemu. West African traditional religion, TNO Hakapumi. It says here, we're in a chapter where it says Introduction to West African Traditional Religion, and it said the reason for the study of West African traditional religion. The profound interest generated in the study of West African traditional religion in recent years has assumed such dimensions that it is appropriate to begin our study with the fundamental reason for the study of the subject. On what relevance then is the study of the subject on the contemporary scene? The objectives for the study of African traditional religion or West African traditional religion, for that matter, are as follows: to help the African to reconstruct his past in order to understand the present and effectively plan for the future; to help the African in his search for self-determination and self-assertion; to make known the world view of Africans so that non-Africans may understand the social and moral behavior of the African; to make scientific comparisons with other religions; and finally, to correct misconceptions about the traditional religion by Western investigators and educated Africans. Thus, the basic aim of the study is not to glorify the African past, but to present the truth with regard to what Africans authentically believe and authentically think about God in a supersensible world. This will induce sympathetic understanding for the traditional faith. I'm not going to read too much, but I won't. And again, that's West African traditional religion, TNO Hakapumi. I'm getting the right page. Make sure I'm on the right page. I was gonna read this part here. More about. I'm trying not to read too much. So what I'm gonna read is part where it says God and morality. It says in the first two chapters we discussed the pervasive nature of religion in African cultures and how the idea of God is fundamental to their beliefs. God is generally regarded as the overlord of society and the final authority in all matters. He has power over life and death, an idea expressed in the King proverb: if God does not decree your death, you do not die. God is also God is the final point of reference and appeal and the parent of mankind who has below him, the ancestors, the deities, and the spirits, all of whom derive their power from him. Said God is acknowledged as the final guardian of the moral code and of law and order. The Achaean proverb on Yami P. Bone, God is against evil, shows that morality flows from God. And the nature of God demands an appropriate response from his creatures. The Mindi myth, which explains the origin of the sacrifice of fowls performed when someone has offended another, also illustrates God's attitude towards morality. God's interest in morality does not end in this life, for it is believed by some of the African society that God will make a final judgment after death. The Yaruba, the Akan, and the Fawn of Benin may be cited as emphasis. The song of divine judgment from Benin very vividly describe God as the final judge. Now, those books I just read and the information in those books are very important. And so that's the reason why when you say African traditional religion, uh, it's not something that uh, you can discard. You can go outside and wash your car, and you can just carry your phone. You understand? You can carry your phone, and you don't need no cord except to plug in the wall for the charger. So you don't need no plug. So just buy some more cord, electrical cord, because we get called, uh, the what I think say, it slipped my mind. But anyway, we just want to let the girl be put to rest and trying to bring some suspects to justice. And no, I'm not gonna be long. And give me an end of this video in a few minutes, but I want to just take a little time when we talk about African traditional religion. Uh, they take it serious. They take it serious because the people that you refer to are Arabic. So I'm gonna end on that because my intention is to come back next week, Friday, Saturday and Friday. So, like I said again, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, in the state of Tennessee, in the county sheriff. Again, thank all my family, my support for your continued encouragement and support. And Until my next video, you take care of yourself. I wish each and every one of you the very best.